You're on record.
Well, according to the attorney, I don't have the authority to call the meeting to order.
Go ahead.
I gave you that
Okay, we'll
authority.
call the March 6th Board of Adjustment meeting to order. Call the roll.
Call the roll, is that what you
Call the roll.
said? We skipped a
No, we
couple of
do.
things. Mr. Berkowitz,
Here.
Ms. Graniani,
Here.
Mr. Jaskowitz.
Here.
Mr. Mazzarella,
Here.
Mr. Reddy.
Present.
We have our board planner, Mr. Chadwick, our board engineer, Mr. Lemanowitz, and our board attorney, Mr. Johnson.
We're all here. Oh, yeah, I was going to pledge first. All right, the announcement is made that adequate notice of this meeting has been given and that it is being conducted in accordance with NJSA 10:4-6 at sec of the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act. Now we'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, correspondence. Got a letter from attorney for the Lydia Binder case, requesting postponement, goes this till May 22nd. Is that acceptable?
Yes,
Sure.
so moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so.
Gentlemen?
Yes, sir.
I'm here, Norm.
All right, next we have some resolutions.
You just have one, just the Patel matter. The old coach is not quite done.
Okay.
I'm here.
For the record, Mr. Willens is here.
For the record.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Somebody want to move the Patel resolution?
So moved.
Second?
Second, Grignani?
Berkowitz,
Yes.
Grignani,
Yes.
Reddy,
Yes.
Willens.
Yep.
Okay. Now we got, Amin. Mr. Amin.
Oh, just seen that.
Okay, before you start those, can I just swear your professionals in? Mr. Chadwick, can you raise your right hand? You swear or affirm that any testimony you give tonight should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Mr. Lemanowitz, you swear or affirm that any testimony you give tonight should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Great, thank you. Mr. Amin, are both of you gonna testify?
No, this is my son. Yeah, he will speak.
He will speak?
Yeah.
Is your father gonna speak too, or just you?
Just me.
Just you? Okay. Can you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
State your name and spell your last name, please.
My first name is Jiggar, Jigar. Last name is Amin, A-M-I-N.
And who is with you?
My father, Samir Amin.
And is he the owner of the property?
Yes.
Both have a seat. Just speak into the microphones,
Okay.
so we can hear you and we put it on the record. Do I have to get temporary chairman?
Yes, sir. Yeah, you should be, right now, we don't have a chair or a vice chair, so we need the nomination of a temporary chair for tonight's meeting, an acting chair.
So moved. Second.
That's Mr. Berkowitz you're nominating?
Yes.
You have to by name.
Oh,
Mr.
Berkowitz.
Okay, and,
All-
all in favor?
All in
Yeah.
favor?
There you go. All right,
All right.
perfect, now you're chair.
Thank you, I think. All right, Miss, well, tell us what you and father want to do.
Yeah, so, this year I'm getting married, and so me and my fiance, once we get married, we wanted to stay with my family over here, at 32 Halsey Road. And, while we were, planning on building this house, we decided, this whole, open deck coverage was an afterthought, and so that's what it came down to, and, this is where we are right now.
So is anything on the property right now?
No, we're just, the construction is happening right now.
So what was there before?
Before there was a house that was built a long time ago that we bought.
Okay, and that house was completely demolished?
That is correct.
You're not using the foundation or anything, you have a whole new foundation.
No, I mean, so we're staying at a rental right now.
So you realized you were starting the house, you forgot to do something, and this is an add-on?
That is correct, yeah.
Okay.
The deck is proportionate to the size of the house. That seems to be what's pushing you over, the allowed, coverage and open decks.
Yeah, that's correct.
It's not a great big expansive deck in the back as I see your plan. Correct?
That's correct. Especially with the weather, and my grandfather will be staying with us as well, so with the convenience is what we're looking into this.
I mean, the deck is only about, not even 12 feet wide. It looks like it's 11 feet, and, which is a relatively modest deck.
I'm trying to, I don't see the zoning report, let's see,
Right here. Oh, there it is. Two little coverage.
I don't have it online.
And nobody commented, right? We have no reports from anybody?
No.
And Mr. Chadwick, you have no objection to any of this, right?
No, I think it's pretty de minimis, these variances. Less than a percent.
All right, there's nothing else you want to add, is there?
No.
Okay. Any members of the public wish to speak in opposition or in favor of this application? Seeing none, close the public portion of the application. This being fairly de minimis, I don't think we need to go into conference. Does somebody want to make a motion?
Yes, I make a motion. It's a de minimis, application, and I'll be voting for it. You want me to continue?
Yeah.
Make a motion.
Okay, application 2401, Samir Amin at 32 Halsey Road, Block 330, Lot 3, Zone R4, recommend granting a C variance to construct a roof front porch entranceway contrary to section 430-10I and section 430-35, column 10.
Second ready?
Yes.
Berkowitz,
Yes.
Grignani,
Yes.
Jaskowitz.
Yes.
Mazzarella,
Yes.
Ready,
Yes.
Willens.
Yes.
Okay, it's been granted. We do a resolution to formalize it, probably at our next meeting, which is in about 2 weeks. So, you'll be,
All right, thank you.
Enjoy.
have a good night. Okay, the next application is 2346, 150 New Road. Good evening, Mr.
Mr.
Dale.
Chairman, members of the board, Joseph O'Neill here on behalf of 150 New Road LLC, also known as Friendly Tree Service, who is looking to utilize this property for storage of vehicles only, no materials. And with me this evening is the managing member of the LLC, Mr. Anthony Lang. I'd like to get him sworn.
Anton, actually.
Anton?
Oh, sorry.
Mr. Lang, can you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Can you state your name and spell your last name, please?
Anton, A-N-T-O-N, last name L-A-N-G. Anton Lang.
Sorry about that, Mr. Lang. So you are the principal in charge of the LLC that's going to be operating on this site, correct?
I am.
And the person in charge of the Friendly Tree Service, with whom these vehicles are
That too?
operating for?
Yes.
So can you describe for us, please, what it is you plan to do on the site? You're going to be just storing your vehicles here?
Yes.
You're going to be doing some light maintenance, but no repair of the vehicles, no oil changes, no washing of the vehicles.
Correct.
And you might be moving some materials between the trucks. We were talking a little before the hearing about how some of the smaller trucks, you'll take some of the clippings, put them in a larger truck, and then haul that away to the dump, right?
Sometimes, yes.
Now, there's a shed on the site,
Yes.
and I had inadvertently said the shed was going to be removed, but it's actually going to be staying, and it's on the plans Mr. Corson will be discussing shortly. What are you planning to do with that shed?
That area, I would like to either store or make those minor repairs in that area.
So you're storing materials like some light welding equipment there, in case you have to do some work on the truck?
Tools like a snap-on chest, miscellaneous parts for, things break.
But the heavy maintenance, anything involving taking the motor apart, really is going to be done where?
Either at my other location in Orange or Kia Costa's right down the street. They have mechanics there. There's an outdoor truck wash there. Other than my own. I don't want to do it on my own property. I own it. I don't want to pollute it. I want it to be clean and...
Sure.
Yeah.
So on the trucks themselves, you're not really keeping any hazardous materials unless you want to count a small gas can.
Correct.
For fueling the equipment.
Chainsaw gas, oil, no more than a few gallon cans with backflow preventers, just for the operation of when they're on at someone's home, just to fill up chainsaws and blowers.
So there's really, as we indicated, you're not going to be dumping anything here on site. The only waste that'll be generated will be in the office. We're going to talk about that in a minute, right?
Just what 3 girls can.
Yeah, three girls in a commercial office, that's the only use that's going to be inside the existing building, right?
Correct.
Is that existing building labeled as a dwelling on the map?
It was a dwelling, yes.
But that'll be your office now.
Yes.
It is your office now.
No.
It's got to be improved.
So what's shown on the plan as a dwelling will now be your office.
That's correct.
We would like
Won't be
to...
anybody living there.
No.
Okay.
What,
So you,
how long has it been since it was used as a dwelling,
do you know how long?
Has the building?
It's boarded up.
Not since I've bought it.
Okay.
I don't know what was going on before then.
I think this zone allows dwellings, even though it's an industrial zone. There's a provision in there that goes back to a councilwoman
Yeah.
who lived there.
Go ahead, Charlie.
Yeah,
So you mentioned you're going to have 3 employees in the office. What are the hours of operation?
Not simultaneous. Some girls come in at 7, another girl starts at 10. So between the hours of 7 and 5, we have office coverage.
Thank you. I have no further questions for this witness.
Any board members have any questions? How many vehicles are you gonna have there?
If I could defer that to Mr. Corson, he'll show you a plan.
Oh, okay.
Are you gonna put a sign up?
Out front by the road.
So, I don't know.
Any place.
Doesn't show it any place.
Am I allowed to?
If you want one, you need to say yes.
Yes.
And then you're gonna ask your engineer where you're gonna put it.
Where the engineer can
And
put
you're
it.
gonna comply with these standards. How big a sign you want? You want just your name and telephone number?
Yeah.
Like
So it'll be a
4
conforming
by
sign?
4 or something like that?
Yes, a conforming sign.
There you go. So we'll amend the application for a conforming
Okay.
sign out front.
And
And just that one sign, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay?
Okay, any members
And
of
you'll
the,
show that on the revised plan, whatever it is.
Yes.
Yes,
Mr.
I
Corson.
will.
Mr. Chairman, I have a couple questions.
go ahead.
Just one thing, you indicated that the shed is gonna stay now?
Yes.
Okay, because the plans we have show that it's not. So do we
Actually,
have
I think it's-
revised plans coming?
Well, I'll defer that to Mr. Corzo.
Okay. Other question, to the north of the site, the driveway, the paved driveway to this site was widened to the point now where it encroaches on the neighboring property by about 20 feet. What's the intention on that paved area?
If I could defer that to Mr. Corzo, I'd appreciate that.
Okay. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Anybody else?
You've seen all the engineering comments? Is that time to ask that question?
That's for Mr. Corzo.
Okay, good. All right, good. Thank you.
Any members of the public wish to ask any questions of this witness? I see none. Go ahead.
Thank you.
Next witness.
Mr. Corzo.
Raise your right hand. You swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Please state your name and spell your last name, please.
Peter Korzen, spelled Korzen.
Mr. Corzo, you are our engineer for this evening. You've been before this board many times.
I have, yes.
And your license is in good standing?
It is,
And you've previously been qualified as an engineer before this board?
yes.
He's sworn and qualified.
Go ahead.
So, Mr. Corzo, go ahead and tell us what we're doing here on site, if you won't mind.
Okay, this is the existing conditions plan. This is sheet 2 of 3, dated July 18th. The property itself is 19,720 square feet, and it's actually this bold double dash line right here. That's the property. You can see the former dwelling located close to New Road. There's a one-car attached garage on the south side and a concrete driveway that leads up to that. What Mr. Lemanowitz also mentioned is that there's an asphalt driveway that encroaches onto the property to the north, lot 17, and that provides access to the back area, which is primarily gravel, although there is a section of asphalt right in back of the building. The shed that Mr. O'Neill referred to is right here, and there's a concrete wall to the west of that. Topography is relatively flat. The building, the main building, is at a high point. It slopes down towards New Road and towards the gravel area in the back, and that area in the back is very flat. The gravel area also extends off-site to the west, and surrounding that gravel area is a chain link fence which leads to the building, and there's actually a gate on the north side for that. Also, what's shown on this plan are significant environmental constraints, and they're twofold. One of them is wetlands, and that's the A number line that you see wrapping around the fence. That's the wetland line. And associated with that is a 50-foot wide buffer. So you can see that the only area on site that is not impacted by the buffer is a small rectangle, and then it broadens out as you get closer to New Road. The second constraint is the flood hazard area limit. That's at elevation 175.6, and that is the L number designation line here, which cuts through the building, so that the back portion of the building, the shed, and the gravel area in the back is all in the floodplain. The front of the building, the garage, the concrete driveway is all out of the floodplain. The next plan is the site plan. This is sheet 3 of 3, also dated July 18th, 2023. So this is an enlargement of the previous plan. You can see the property line here, the main building right here, and there are no improvements proposed other than the sign that was just mentioned, and we will modify that plan to have a conforming location and size for that sign. That still has to be coordinated with the applicant.
Could I interrupt 1 second?
Sure.
The existing conditions, you explained the backyard area, the fence we're talking about exists, correct?
Yes.
Does that include that land that was not part of this lot?
It does. I'll bring that back. I'll just outline the property again. It's this smaller rectangle with the double dashed line right here, and you can see that the fence in the gravel area extends back, and it's coincident with the wetland line. So you can see this area in the back is actually off-site. Based on my review, it's been like that for at least 20 years. If you do a Google Maps search,
Did
I
I
think
speak with you, or did I speak with the environmentalist on this?
probably environmentalist, yeah. But I found one that you could, there was one in 1995, you really couldn't, it wasn't that
I'm not
legible.
questioning that. Is this application going to include that back area?
Well, we're not touching that at all. That's not being touched at all. And that's actually apparent on the site plan.
But you told me the fence
No, yeah,
encompasses that.
it encompasses that, but this is an enlargement, so that off-site area and that fence is beyond this plan.
So
It's
there
not
will be
their
a new
property.
fence
There's,
put up.
there's no plans for a new fence in the back. Correct.
So
Mr. Corson, the survey
when you
revealed...
show the trailers on that plan perpendicular to the back property line,
Yes,
there will be no demarcation to the end of the property and that encroachment, or whatever we want to call it.
correct. Correct.
Okay. I understand.
So,
Everybody know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about?
kind of, if you could spill, as time goes on, you could spill back further and nobody would know the difference, right? There's no fence there.
I'm not saying that.
That's,
But it could happen, right, Chris?
It could, it's possible.
Is that an issue?
John, should he be putting a fence up where his property line is?
I think there should be something there.
Okay.
I don't know if you have to have a fence or just wheel stops,
So why,
paint a line on the ground or something. I mean,
is there a reason you didn't
do
want
you
to
have any negotiations with the property owner behind you?
You're gonna need to come back up.
And that's all gravel where the trucks are gonna be, the chippers?
yes.
It's
I mean,
gravel.
I didn't realize that when I looked at the property, that back end wasn't part of lot 18.
I have not talked to any of the neighbors.
You do maintain the fences now, right?
But the fence is up, they fence beyond their property.
Yeah, it's on the neighbor's property.
Yeah, but if you go out and look at it, you wouldn't know that unless somebody told you.
Right, right.
So if you were asked to put up a line or some cones or something to delineate your property line, would you be opposed to that?
Like wheel stops?
Not at all.
Okay.
Everything that you want to do is shown on your property on that sheet that's part of the application.
Exactly right.
Okay.
Okay, so getting back to the site plan, as I mentioned, there are no proposed improvements. What is shown are vehicle locations, and there are 7 passenger vehicles proposed. One is a visitor vehicle parked in the concrete driveway in front of the garage. There's also an employee vehicle inside the garage, and there are 5 employee vehicles parked in the back gravel area. In addition to those, there are 6 commercial vehicles, and they are composed of a truck and chipper combination, 4 of those there. There's a pickup and stump grinder in the shed, and there's a bucket truck immediately to the east. And that really is it for the site plan. If you look on sheet 1 of 3, in the upper right, there's a zoning data table. And you can see there's a bunch of no changes for proposed, that's because there are no improvements. There are several existing non-conforming conditions, and they're indicated. And at the top, of course, you see that there is the variance for the tree service business.
There are variances for parking the vehicles, right?
Yeah, below the zoning data table is the parking requirements table. And you can see that there are 4 variances requested there. The first one is for maximum driveway width, which is required to be 24 feet. However, as mentioned, there is this existing driveway that encroaches onto lot 17, and that total width is 56 feet. So we're proposing to keep that the way it is right now, and that would be 56 feet for that variance. The second variance is for a minimum...
One second, I'm sorry. How much of that 56 feet is on the subject property?
I hope all of it.
No, it's not.
That's the issue.
He's got his driveway.
35 feet.
So 35 feet. So wouldn't you be looking for approval of 35 feet rather than approval of 56 feet?
Yes. On our property.
Yeah, that's assuming that we go with a 0-foot setback for the driveway, correct?
But we do need that, yes. That's exactly right. Thank you, Mr. Johnson.
So I'll make that correction on the plan. So the second variance is for that 0-foot setback for that driveway. The third variance is for minimum parking setback from the rear and side property lines. That's required to be 5 feet. All of the vehicles you see are 5 feet or at 5 feet, except for the pickup and stump grinder, which is located in the shed. And that shed happens to be, actually encroach over the property line, so that's why it's listed as 0 there.
So if there's a truck and chipper parking in the back, and there is a delineation of the property line by some physical structure like a stop, if that was put 5 feet, so you'd want that to be right on the property line versus 5 feet from the property line? That's what you're asking for, correct?
We are for maneuverability of the vehicles, yes.
Okay.
Is that correct, Mr. Corson?
I'm not sure I understood the
Sure.
question.
So we've already talked about having some type of physical delineation of the property line in the rear of the property. Right? So, but the trucks and chippers that you have lined up on the plan, if they were within 5 feet of that property line, you would need a variance, correct?
They are more, 5 feet or more.
Yeah. So you're asking for a variance because you want them on the property line, correct?
Not those. The only one that we're looking for a variance for is this pickup and stump grinder.
Okay, now I understand.
Yeah, that happens.
Just that one?
Just that one, correct.
Okay.
The final variance listed is for the number of commercial vehicles, and that's a total of 6. And you heard me describe those, the chipper, stump grinder, and bucket truck. So that's it. I'm ready to move on to the review letters, unless somebody has any questions.
So the vehicles, the truck and chipper, you're gonna have 3 women in the office, so we have that for employee parking. People that drive these trucks and chippers, they drive there every day in their own vehicle and then take those vehicles out, I assume?
We are showing a total of 7 employee vehicles, so that's 6 employee vehicles. So we have the 3 women in the office and 3 cars available for other personnel.
But we have 6 commercial vehicles, so if all are driven out, 6 drivers have to be inside.
The owner applicant would be able to answer that better than I can.
I guess the point being, you have 6 commercial vehicles here, right? And you have 3 people in the office. You have only 5 or 6 employee vehicle parking areas, so if you have all vehicles had to have a driver, that would be 6 and 3, 9. You need 9.
I can commute some guys from Orange. We have a van. I can commute some guys from Orange. I have a van.
Okay.
I have friendly people on Edwards Road. I can park at their place. We can make it work.
Wouldn't they, if they take the trucks, the chipper trailers out, are they just gonna park there anyway? They back to the vehicle out?
Well, assuming they're starting there as their where they work from. We have another location that they could start from.
Okay.
We can pick up these trucks, and so instead of me taking trucks from Orange every day to Morristown, we can get these trucks from Parsippany and take them to further west and further.
How many people do you think are gonna work out of this site?
I'm sorry?
How many employees do you think are gonna work out of this site? Not the office girls, but the real guys.
You figure there's 2 guys on every truck. They would definitely not need to park there.
Where would they park when they came to work?
Down in Orange.
Down in Orange.
Yes.
And you ferry them up here in your van?
Yes. There's a car wash that has 2 locations, one in East Hanover and one down the street from me in Orange. They do the same thing with the van, and it works out.
Okay. So your employee base is down in the Oranges someplace?
Most people live locally down there, yeah.
Yeah, and that you,
I haven't been up here, so I haven't hired any person.
right, you got all the logistics down, I got it. Okay.
Now, all this area right now is gravel,
Yes,
It's
Mr.
all
Corson,
in
it's
there.
graveler.
and there's no plans to make it more solid surface, like from the winter. How do you plow gravel?
How do you plow gravel?
I mean, if you have a snowstorm, how do you get in and out here?
Carefully.
That's terrible. When you plow gravel, it all just
That's what I'm thinking. So,
rolls up into a pile at the end of your yard.
so you're gonna have
This whole
employee
winter,
parking? Go ahead.
this whole winter, we never plowed it once. We didn't use it at all.
What about if we have snow like 2-3 feet?
I don't need to depend on this location to, and especially in the winter, it's my off-season. This year, we did not plow it at all. I put trucks there, that we wouldn't need to use for the winter. I can show you, it sounds crazy, but I can show you pictures of our Orange location. There's, the trucks there and space there.
Are you allowed to take trees down during the winter?
Sure, why not?
Yeah.
You have to for some storms.
Right.
Some storms.
No, we work all
April
through
down on
the year.
It's a good time to take a drive. Okay. Thank you.
For ordinance against it in Parsippany?
No. They take trees down in the winter in Parsippany. Mr. Corson, you were going to go through the reports?
Yeah, I'll start with the board engineer's report. This is dated November 9th on sheet 2, page 2. Just going to hit the outstanding comments. First one is signage and lighting. We talked about signage. As far as lighting goes, there's existing wall pack fixtures on the former house, and those are to be used. Number 5 will comply and show the location of the stormwater downspouts. Currently, I think there's 4, and they discharge onto the ground surface. Number 6 has to do with stormwater management. There's no proposed stormwater management since we're not making any improvements. Number 7, there's no trees that will be impacted, and there is no landscaping proposed. Number 8, proposed utility tie-ins. There are none. Number 10, I have a question about, and it's proposed parking spaces shall be provided with dimensions on the plan. I could certainly add dimensions on the plan. I'm just wondering in reality if you're looking for delineation out in the field, which would be kind of difficult in the gravel area and probably unnecessary since it's going to be employees parking back there. So I just wanted some clarification on that one.
Well, I think there was an agreement, we put some bumper stops along that back property line. Why don't we just put them all the way across and just label 1, 2, 3, 4 on the
bumper stop.
stops?
Yeah, that's fine.
Well, I'm talking, where's the X for the sign? Where we want to put it? Next to the driveway you go in the back?
The signage on the front yard there?
It's hard to say there, without
There's a couple trees down
visualizing the property in front of me. Yeah, there's a couple trees there, so it wouldn't be good in the front. So I think they kind of.
Well, let's wait for Mr. McDonough to get up with his photos and we can make a decision from there.
Good idea.
Okay, number 12 we talked about. Number 14 is just a typo that I'll correct. And then moving on to the board planner's report.
I think you've just, I'm the board planner, and I think we've addressed all of the items but for where we're going to put the sign.
Okay.
What about the shed encroachment?
The shed encroachment pre-exists. This is not, I mean, I think his biggest problem is encroachment on other people's property, but
Well, the driveway.
that's not part of this plan, that's his issue. The item 2, I spent quite a bit of time reading the reports, because I was amazed that DEP granted all those approvals, and I did speak to the author of it. And
Yes, Mr.
I
Kruger is
don't-
here for questions.
I don't see any real need. You got your approvals,
Yes.
and the report is pretty thorough. I mean, it's very thorough. But I'm surprised that DEP gave you all those approvals. I'm just amazed.
All that flood area.
Well, it's also one of the reasons why we're keeping the gravel.
Yeah. You have to keep it.
But to the point of number 2, there's no vehicle repairs or storage of hazardous material.
No, as Mr. Lang indicated, there's no materials are going to be stored here. There's not going to be any piles of anything. The repairs of the motors, anything that opens up the motor will be done off-site. All the washing will be done off-site. And that's to keep things from getting on the ground.
You take the basic material of limbs, leaves, whatever you have, to a recycler, right?
Primarily, Nature's Choice. There are multiple locations, one Ledgewood and West Orange.
Yeah, who's recycler, that's
Yeah.
right. Do you do grass too, or no?
No.
Just trees?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mr. Corson, could you go over number 4 regarding the trash?
Yeah, I think it was mentioned, it's just going to be a small office that's going to occupy that former dwelling, so it'll just be office, trash waste and recyclables, and it'll be handled by, I'm assuming, a private utility hauler.
Private hauler going to haul the trash to the office.
I have a self-generator license. I can take it across the street to the MUA. No?
You have a way of disposing of it
Yes.
privately?
Yes.
Which is you?
Yes.
And with respect to the driveway, you did acknowledge that I was right that it was there, but is that going to stay? The encroachment on the neighbor? Yes.
There aren't any plans, there aren't any proposals right now for removing that, correct?
Okay, and I think, Mr. Chadwick kind of went in the direction of the encroachments. I would suggest that if any resolution of approval would specify that that approval does not legitimize any encroachments, and that the applicant is it's solely responsible for anything that happens beyond this, and that they can't come back and say, well, the board said it was okay for that encroachment to be there.
Good point.
Is it part of the application?
No, because it's not part of the property. So we'll accept the
Not, isn't it?
position.
You can't make a proposal on somebody else's
Right.
property.
We had that last time.
So what was suggested, I think, is a good idea.
I will make sure the resolution contains that language.
Yeah, you're in agreement with that, right?
Yes, sir.
If we grant approval of the resolution.
You're agreeing to?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't have any more questions of Mr. Corson?
No.
Thank you, Mr. Corson. Mr. McDonough?
One of these 3 mics am I allowed to use?
Any one of those.
Your
I'll
choice.
break all 3.
None.
You swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes, I do.
Please state and spell your last name.
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is John McDonough. That's spelled MC, capital DONOUGH.
And for the record, you've been qualified before this board on many occasions, correct?
Yes, I have.
And you're so qualified tonight.
Mr. McDonough, you're familiar with the application here before the board?
I am.
You've examined the local ordinances and master plan?
Yes, I have.
I wonder if you can give us your findings in regard to this application and its interaction with those.
Sure, pretty straightforward application. We know we need D1 use relief to allow for use that's not permitted or expressly permitted in the zone. We're in the LIW2 zone, the Limited Industrial Wholesale District, which does allow for a wide variety of commercial and industrial uses, including restaurants, including offices, and including contractor-type uses as well, which is not far afield from what the applicant is proposing here. The ordinance allows warehousing, light industrial, electrical, HVAC, plumbing, and refrigeration, equipment sales, and service businesses all could go here. So the fact that we have an applicant here that is proposing a tree service business is not far afield from exactly what the zone would contemplate here. Whenever we look at D1 use relief, we look at whether the relief is a substantial departure from what the zone plan contemplates. And I think the board can certainly find that this is not a substantial departure from the zone plan. Likewise, this is not a substantial departure from the character of the area, which has established itself along New Road as, I'll say, a mixed bag of uses. You actually still have some remnant R3 uses there along the stretch, but the predominant character of New Road as a connector or a collector between 46 and 280 is a commercial service road, and you've got a number of commercial and industrial businesses along that relatively short stretch of roadway, including contractor yards that have been approved along the way by this board, and truck storage and the like, and one right across the street as well. So that is somewhat of the character of the area that has shaped itself on a roadway that offers excellent connectivity to the regional highway network. So we think we've got good site suitability here in terms of the positive criteria with respect to the condition of the property. It's cleared, it's generally flat, generally free of environmental constraints, wetlands, and the like. Likewise, we have a site that has excellent buffering here, which provides for good separation from residential uses, including those apartments that go out to 46. I still call them the New Road apartments. I think they're now called the Partridge apartments. But we are separated from that development by 14 acres of wooded wetland areas on lots 17, which wraps around the subject site, and then lot 15, which is beyond that. And in aggregate, those two lots are upwards of 14 acres or so. So there's good built-in natural buffering around the perimeter of the property. As we work our way to the south, we've got an industrial use. That's where that encroachment with the 5-foot setback that Mr. Corzine talked about occurs. So it's really against another industrial use. And it's within a building that's already there, so it's not like it's a new encroachment per se. In terms of the statutory test, the positive and the negative criteria, I think the board can find that several purposes of zoning are advanced here, including purpose A, the promotion of the general welfare, again, because the site is particularly suitable for the use, based on what I just said, its condition and its context. Also, the advancement of purpose M, that's our planning goal for efficient use of land, basically working with what's there, taking that former dwelling, that building, converting it to an office use is something we see throughout the community, so we think there's ideal suitability there as well. And then the open yard area in the back, which does have that nice frame of trees around it. And then finally, purpose G, to provide for a variety of uses in appropriate locations. That's the planning goal, to provide for a mix of commercial uses. The location here is appropriate because it is a commercial use along a commercial corridor, which has that excellent connectivity to the regional network. In terms of the negative criteria, I'll fall back on the operational testimony and Mr. Corzine's testimony that the site will be organized in a well-organized fashion, a logical fashion. It'll flow and function safely and orderly without creating any adverse or detrimental impacts on the property or in terms of the character of the area and the surrounding area as well. Again, we always have to reconcile with the omission of the use from the zone plan and your 2020 master plan. Again, considering that the master plan has reaffirmed the uses that could go here, we're looking at a use that, again, is not substantially deviant or substantially a departure from that which could be. All said, it's a good application. It's a good use of previously disturbed land. It integrates very well with the landscape and the site itself, and for that reason, we think that the main relief the board needs to move on is the D relief. All of the other relief, the C relief, is subsidiary and necessary to effectuate a good use of space. With that said, we think the statutory tests for both the D1 and the C relief are met, and approval is warranted.
Thank you. I have no further questions for Mr. McDonough at 8:15.
You didn't prepare a report, correct? You just
I
relied
did
on
not
testing?
prepare a
I
report.
just want to make sure I wasn't missing anything. And this zone is the LIW2 zone and R3 zone?
Yes,
Okay.
and my understanding, Mr. Chadwick can correct me, is those pockets were in areas where there were established residential uses.
They put it in decades ago. As I said, one of the councilmen used to live there and she was correct.
Most of those R3 uses are gone. There are still some out there, but most have converted like this.
Are we gonna locate the sign now?
You were gonna, Mr. O'Neill said you were gonna show some photos of the site or whatever?
You want me to show some photos of the
Sure.
site, Joe?
That would help us where the
Okay.
sign should go.
That's A1 for
Does
the,
anyone have on that side of the table?
And I'll hand these out, but I will say the logical location to me would be upstream. If you're driving south on New Road, it would be to put the sign immediately to the north of that access point.
Any objection to that?
Aren't there trees along the front there a little bit?
Let's see the
Yes.
pictures, please.
He wants to see his pictures?
Yeah, I wanna see a picture.
that's A1 for the
A1.
So the whole package of pictures is A1.
package. Can you describe that for us very briefly?
A1 are going to be pictures that were taken today on this foggy, dreary day. The main thing you're going to see here, they're all taken from a drone shot. The first two, you barely can see what's going on the property because it's so well buffered. As we lift up a little and look down, you'll see more.
And you can see some of their vehicles on site, giving you a sense of proportion what we're talking.
And that red truck with the white bucket is the entrance to the development?
That's correct.
That is correct, yes, which is another reason why I should stand corrected on where I think the sign should go. I was thinking the sign should go to the right of that truck in this photograph, or I call it upstream, on the approach. That would be on an adjacent property, so it's got to go on the downhill side.
So it's on the left-hand
Downstream.
side of the driveway.
So you're gonna have to limb out some trees to have it show and have it down low. Yes.
Yes.
So why don't we decide the size of this sign is 4x4 with your name and telephone number, is that good enough? You gonna light it up or not?
You want to light on it?
If you're gonna light it up, indirect, no plastic. box
That's right,
sign.
it's indirect.
Little floodlight on the bottom.
Something that's, low voltage wire from below, from the side.
However you wanna do it, I mean, you can stick those little solar lights out there.
Would that be to the south of the driveway entrance?
Yes.
To the
yes.
south, or for reference, just to the right of that little white car, that little SUV.
That might be hard to put.
I mean, I assume there aren't a lot of clients
so.
coming to this site, but you must have vendors of some sort.
So to the
It's always
south of the
important to have
north
the
entrance
number
driveway, how's
name
that?
For
Yeah.
emergency service.
I would say,
Is that delineated?
Perfect.
okay.
I guess it was a part of the testimony, I think, the traffic in and out of this site onto New Road. How far, looking at this picture, how far here is Route 46 and how far down to the bottom is 87?
280.
I mean, 287, yeah.
280.
280.
So from the site to 46,
It's about midway between the two.
It's in the middle.
it is about midway.
Okay.
Which would be about a mile each direction? No.
A quarter mile, actually, 1,200
Yeah.
linear feet.
So coming out of the site, the vehicles could go either to the right or to the left because there's an opening to go across it, right?
That's
They could
correct.
Go north or south on New Road.
And this is the straight stretch of New
Yeah,
Road. As
that's
you
what
work
I'm
your way to the
asking
south by Wawa, it starts to really curve around, so I'll leave it to Pete to contradict me, but I think you have good, clear lines of sight both way because of the straightness of the road.
Good, okay.
Good.
So just real quick, looking at, picture number 4. So we're gonna make sure that those vehicles aren't that close to the fence, right? That's what we're talking about?
Yeah, with the bumper stop.
Yeah, so we'll move those way up, because they're already there.
Adding on to what Mr. Nazarelli is saying, are those bumper stops also going to be for the employee vehicles that are next to the wood chippers? Are they going all the way down?
All the way
on that
down,
property
yes.
line?
All the way down.
Thank you.
Those are the ones that we're gonna number, I think.
And then my last question, I guess, there's no major changes to the house, you're just gonna kind of unboard it, obviously, if it's boarded up, you said? The windows and
Yeah,
stuff, there's nothing,
it needs to just be,
just spruce it up, okay.
Okay, and these storage areas behind you're not gonna be having trucks come back there and dumping wood chips and piles, all that kind of stuff there?
that was the testimony. All goes off-site.
Yeah, okay. What are in the, the one on page 4, the picture there shows a covered kind of structure, it looks like.
That's the shed.
That is the shed.
That's
okay.
the open frame shed, yes.
Okay, good. All right, and to the left of that, what's all that stuff between the houses?
It looks to me like
That's
asphalt.
It's all asphalt. And that's all broken up, it looks like in pretty bad shape.
Well, this is the asphalt here.
No, I think it's all.
I don't know if it's in bad shape.
Yeah. It might be just dry.
Okay,
I think it's just wet there.
I'm sorry, Joe?
I think that's just wet in the picture.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, and all the rest of that lot's gravel?
This part you can't do that.
Yeah, okay.
Is it gravel now, or is it gonna be gravel?
It is gravel.
With reference to fire department questions,
We're accepting those conditions.
Okay.
Wonderful. Okay.
So how long have has the current owner owned the property?
2021 is what the tax records show.
So you've been having some vehicles go in and out there already, right? So, which is fine.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah. Thank you.
Anything else? Anybody have any questions?
Nope.
Mr. McDonough? By the silence, I'll say no. Any members of the public have any questions for Mr. McDonough? Any other witnesses?
That concludes our application. And I will rely on the testimony provided. Thank the board for its time. I think this is definitely a good site. Thanks.
Any members of the public have anything to say either in favor or against application? Record showing none. Anybody do we need to go in conference?
No.
Nope.
No.
Somebody want to say something nice about this?
do we need a resolution with the attorney, including that, the stuff we talk about?
Oh, yeah.
We need a definitely
Yeah.
a resolution.
I think it's,
Drafted, or you want to,
Well, we need a,
Yeah, we agree to all the
Yeah.
conditions.
we need a motion to
So-
approve,
we need a recommendation, right?
recommendation, a motion to approve it.
So I think it's a good purpose and a good spot, agreeing with everything we've asked for, and I'll be voting for it.
Okay, if everybody else agrees with that, somebody needs to make a motion.
Application 23:46, 150 New Road LLC, 150 New Road, block number 767, lot number 18, zone LIW-2, to issue with the site plan with C and D variance for outdoor storage of tree removal equipment with all the conditions and so whatever we discussed in the meeting.
and the conditions I have, just for the record, are no maintenance or repair of vehicles, no storage of materials, the parking steps at the rear parking line, at the rear property line, and there is no approval of any off-site conditions that were noted during the presentation.
And the
Yes.
sign.
And the sign in the front yard. The sign to the south of the north entranceway to the property.
Which we will show on revised.
Second, Jaskowitz.
I want to correct that there will be some light maintenance there, some welding of the frame if necessary, but no maintenance on the motor.
No maintenance of,
The engine.
of engines, okay. Light maintenance of hand equipment, like those kinds of things? Not the bucket trucks or,
Yeah,
No,
we'll
if you-
weld those.
okay.
He wants to be able to weld and
Yeah.
make frames, but he couldn't do engine repair. Just say no engine repair.
No engine, heavy
No
work,
engine repair.
no, anywhere where there's gonna be any spillage of hazardous materials, I take it right to a mechanic.
Okay, I just want to make sure that we're clear on the
Not my-
resolution, that's
not- I
all.
don't want it on my land either.
I'll send it to your attorney to make sure we're clear on what the conditions are.
Yes.
Good?
Second.
All of these conditions should be noted on the map, but, on the site plan, so we have them. So when the site plan comes back in, you have a series of general notes, which will be the conditions of the resolution.
Well, that's just the maintenance issue, would be the storage of materials and stuff. that's
What it
already on the-
helps is the inspector that goes out, he's got the map and everything right there.
Everything will be on the plan, one way or another.
Yes, good enough.
Got it.
Berkowitz.
Yes.
Grignani.
Yes.
Jaskowitz.
Yes.
Mazzarella.
Yes.
Ready.
Yes.
Willing.
Yes.
Thank you, everyone, have a nice evening.
Thank you, you too.
Thank you.
Any more business? No?
No.
Motion to adjourn?
Adjourn?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.